Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are ready for the penultimate round in the regular season for now what is known as the Ezra Pro Series. That's right. The Elite Sim Racing Association, formerly known as No Limit Racing, and even last week, Greg Rentz, known as the No Limit Racing Kicker Series, is now known as NESRA. We're ready to go here. Welcome to coverage on LSR TV and CRN Sports. Good Monday evening to you wherever you are around the world. It is time for the Barnes Paving 245, which is going to be a nice quick race, I think, around the Tricky Triangle here at Long Pond, Pennsylvania, Pocono Raceway, and we are ready to go here this evening. I'm Wesley Outland. Joined alongside is Greg Rentz, Charles Wooten in the production chair. Greg, we love Pocono. It's like a super speedway. It's like a short track. One thing is offered. There's no turn 4. This should be fun tonight.
Oh, I'm very much looking forward to this, Wesley. Pocono, Pennsylvania, one of the trickiest and most fun tracks on the server. Doesn't have as good a reputation as it deserves because I love this racetrack. 3 very, very unique corners here at this track, each one modeled after another racetrack in the country, and each track or each corner its own characteristics, makes it so much fun. 98 laps distance tonight, just too shy of a century grind here at Pocono, and I think you're right. If we can get some green flag laps clicked away early, this thing's going to be over before you know it.
Yeah, 245 miles is, I believe, going to by very, very quickly as we are ready to go here with our coverage on not only LSR TV, your home for sim racing, but also those that are tuning in on the CRN Sports for audio cast coverage of our events. Again, what a race we had last night to close out the Adrenaline Cup Series at Phoenix, and now we are less than one race away. We have a race tonight. We have a race at Richmond in the next week or two because I think we're off next week for this series, and then we move into the playoffs. This is how fast this season has gone right now on the tour with our coverage on Monday nights.
Yeah, it has gone very quickly. We came aboard, I believe, on race number 4, if I'm correct. So the first 3 were in the books. And now, Wesley, I want to point to you the ticker. You see the multicolors up here in the left. I want to talk a little bit about what that means for those viewers at home. We talked about the playoff push. We've got it figured out now. The drivers highlighted in green, Matt Lovett and Brian Wirtz, 41-82. You see their names are in green. Those 2 are locked in to the playoffs. The drivers in blue, such as Thitchner, Coates, Woolley, Mock, and the rest of them in blue, they are the drivers that are currently in a playoff position but are not yet mathematically locked in. The drivers in red, Fluman, Jurgen, and Clark, they are on the outside looking in, but they still can leapfrog into the playoff position. The drivers with black, unfortunately, they are out of contention for the playoffs. So that is your color code here to keep an eye on. 2 drivers locked in, 10 drivers on the inside trying to hold on, 3 drivers on the outside looking in, 15 drivers for 12 spots.
I'm getting colorblind here. All of these reds and blacks and blues and greens, definitely, but they all have a purpose for something. As again, qualifying is underway. Remember, you got the green bars, you're in. So guys like, of course, Matt Lovett and Brian Wirtz, we know they've had a successful year so far in the series. They are in the program. For everyone else, they're going to have to really fight as hard as they can to make it in to this event. The blue bars, they have a shot. If you're in the red, you're on the outside looking in. But that red doesn't mean, as we see qualifying still happening with Art Moline putting time on the board, that you're out. You just got to get in the green, Greg. You got to get in the green.
You got to get in the green, and in order to do that, you got to get in the blue if you're in the red. If you're in the blue, you got to find a way to get yourself into the green and keep yourself from going red. So for those drivers, Jurgen, Clark, and Evasius, that's what you got to do, and I tell you, and Fluman as well. Jurgen, he is doing exactly what he has to do right now on top of the board in the number 92. There, you see him right there. Scratch that, Matt Love. Lovett to the top. Jurgen was doing exactly what he had to do up for a moment there.
Watching these drivers right now, Matt Lovett going to the top of the board, as you just said. Jurgen was really putting up a fight there, though. And don't get me wrong, he's still got another lap to get it done here, so we'll see what he can do. He's still got plenty of time, plenty of qualifying left to go here to lock in the field. Still about 10 or so drivers left to take time as well that ain't even made it on the racetrack yet, Greg.
Yeah, plenty of time for these drivers. A 5-minute qualifying session. This is a long racetrack. You can see the fastest lap time is 53.291 by our points leader, Matt Lovett, in the number 41. 53.291 seconds. That's just shy of a minute, Wesley. These are one of the longest laps here you will see on iRacing on a, I guess, oval track. This is a triangle, not an oval. What turn 4? But
hey, right.
As far as the oval circuit goes, this counts towards your oval ratings whenever you race here, so it's considered an oval. And as far as that goes, this is probably the longest lap times you will see on an oval. It's amazing that Talladega, a track that is a good tenth and a half of a mile longer than this, those laps are a good 4 seconds slower.
That's right. And, of course, we are watching these drivers working their way around the racetrack, but qualifying. Lovett, Jurgen, Wirtz, Fluman. Cherry, the most recent winner, again, he won, was at Talladega in the number 48. And here's the thing as well, that this kind of gets me here, Greg. Matt Cherry won at Talladega, but he's not in the playoffs.
He won, but he has not had a consistent season, therefore still not locked in the playoff. This is not like the Northwest Racing Series where win and you're in as long as you have 18 races on the thing, as long as you have run most of the races. Right. As David DeFazio goes out for his second lap here in this one. Not like that. By the way, the opening round of the Northwest Racing Series playoffs coming up after this later tonight on LSR TV. But these drivers, they're racing to try to get into the chase under like that old system where it was just top 12 in points plus a couple wild cards getting into the chase. So they're on that type of system. Once we get into the playoffs, I believe that is when you'll start seeing the win and you're in towards the next round like we are seeing with so many other series right now. But that explains why the guys like Matt Cherry and Hank Kasten, who won a couple weeks ago at Charlotte, are not yet locked in.
That's right. And qualifying has officially wrapped up. What a phenomenal job by those drivers. And it looks like the field is set and ready to go on the front straightaway. It's going to be a good one. The penultimate race of the regular season before they move to Richmond. Man, we go to a crazy track like Richmond in 2 weeks. Remember, right now, tentatively on the schedule, the Ezra Pro Series is off next Monday night, but they're on tonight. Let's give you your starting lineup. We're ready to roll. Matt Lovett on the pole, fast qualifier. We're going to go 4x4. Matt Lovett in the 41, Edward Jurgen in the 92. That'll make up row number 1. Brian Wirtz in the 82 will start 3rd, and Jake Fluman, probably the best start so far this season in a troubled ride. That 22 will start 4th.
Talked about Matt Cherry and Hank Kasten, 2 race winners who are locked in to the playoffs just yet. They start 5th and 6th in row number 3. Behind them will be Sean Lottison in the number 24 and Ryan Hedrick in the number 9.
Moving into the top 10, Alec Coates will start in the 10th position, the number 10 car as well, 9th. And starting 10th, Casey Gilchrist will be in the 26 machine. Row number 6, starting 11, Stephen Evasius in the 12 to the outside. Anthony Thitchner, so close, many times to winning. He'll start 16th in the 87.
Another driver who is on the outside looking into the playoff hunt right now, Isaac Mock in the 95, rolls off 13th with Josh Mayu. He's in the blue right now. He's in the top 12, but not yet locked in the 02. Casey Knighton in the number 84 rolls off 15th. Casey Clark Jr. makes up the all-Casey row there on row 8. He starts 16th.
Yeah, the Casey row. Row number 9, starting 17th, Cody Cox in the 54. The field is yet to roll off pit lane just yet. And Matt Jorgensen in the 51. He'll start 18th, row 9. Row 10 for the top 20. David DeFazio in the 99, followed by Evan Keys in the 46. And now the field begins to roll off pit lane.
The final car to take time was Art Moline in the number 15. Drivers on provisionals will be 22nd on back, starting with Michael Woolley. Jake Elrod and Jason Wiley will make up our 24 starters for this race, as Kyle Ramsey bowing out to head up to the tower. Ramsey is race control. That's why he's not in this race, but he is on the ticker.
That's right. So again, just so you know, that is the way that we have it locked in right now. That's the way these drivers are prepared to go here. So looking at the point standings going into this race, coming up, these drivers prepared to go here for the No Limit Pro Series, updated every Monday night. Of course, this is again at Pocono Raceway. Matt Lovett has the points lead after 8 races. He leads 26 over Brian Wirtz. Anthony Fitchner, 35 back. 39 points back is Matt Cherry, tied with Hank Caston, the Charlotte winner, in 5th. Then you got Alec Coates in the top 6 at 53. 54 back for Brandon Fronapple. KC Gilchrist is 70 points back in 8th. Josh Mayu, 974 back, and 75 back is Casey Knighton. As again, I said, if you see the ticker, you see the green, those are your drivers that are currently locked in. When you see the ticker with the timing and scoring, you will know who is in, who is out, who's trying to get in. One thing we know for certain, we're about to go to racing at a track that's known as what Turn 4? The Tricky Triangle here at Pocono. A new era begins for Ezra, the Elite Sim Racing Association, on LSR TV and listening on CRN. We are green, kicking some asphalt in the Pocono Mountains. Down the front straightaway, we're ready, we're underway. A virtual race is underway in Pocono, and on the jump quickly, Matt Lovett never fails, Greg. He's out in front. This should be a good one here at Pocono tonight.
Big mover so far is in 3rd position. Hank Caston, the Charlotte winner, started 6th in just 1 lap on this 2.5-mile triangle, up to 3rd in that number 36. Remember, Wesley, when he won at Charlotte in the number 36, you see in 3rd right now, behind your 2 drivers who are locked into the playoffs, Brian Wirtz and Matt Lovett. Caston was just as fast there as he is here tonight.
And we're seeing that right now as the opening laps are underway here. Off turn 4, here they come to the line. What turn 4? Turn 3. Gotcha. Down the front stretch, we're 2 in. Let's love it right now. The man out in front, Brian Wirtz. Of course, those 2 drivers fighting for a championship. Only fitting, Greg, that he's right there in the 2nd spot.
Yeah, the 2 drivers locked into the playoffs, 1-2. Then you got 2 drivers that are on the inside, or the correct side, I should say, of the playoff bubble. They are the drivers in blue, Caston and Cherry, winners at Charlotte and Talladega, respectively. The highest score driver on the outside looking in right now is Fluman in 6th position, and that is good for him, Wesley, because when you're in the red, like Fluman, Jurgen, and Clark are, you want to be as high up on the ticker as possible, getting points, and you want as many of those blue drivers behind you. Fluman doing exactly that right now. He doesn't have to worry about the green drivers. They're already locked in. He's not going to worry about them. What he's worried about is staying in front of as many blue cars as he can. If he can get in front and win a race, that would be huge, but not quite urgency just yet here for the 22, but a win would definitely go a long way in helping that. There you see him on the outside there in the orange car, just hanging outside.
And mind you, there is a long way to go here in this race as well. I mean, we are just getting started in this 86-lap contest, which is the equivalent of less than 250 miles, 246 miles to be exact. Normally, this is about the distance for maybe an Xfinity or an Xfinity race here at Pocono, for that matter. That it actually, for the first times in a while, the Xfinity Series returned to Pocono for their triple header deal that they did back in the summer of June.
Wow, but, what a move. Did you see that move, Pi? I believe, was that Matt Cherry in the 48?
How about 48?
How about fourth to first in one move? One turn. What a move.
Nestled in there and stole it away. And I'm kind of thinking, is that kind of crazy to be making moves like that so early in the going? But have at it, boys. Wow.
Yeah, he wants it. Lap 5 being worked right now. 4 in the books. Lovett led the first 3 in the number 41 car. Matt Cherry just got around him to lead that lap, and suddenly Kasten is in second. So now, after having your 2 drivers who are locked in lead the way for the first 3 laps, all of a sudden, 2 drivers trying to lock themselves into the playoffs now leading the way.
This is the Ezra Pro E-Series. That's how you say it. The Elite Sim Racing Association. That is their new banner. Things expanding. Brandon Frontapple was telling us that obviously these are some of the new things that have been done. Obviously, if you go to the No Limit Racing website, some of that stuff is still being updated, but all of their social media now says Ezra, the Elite Sim Racing Association. The sanctioning banner for now, the Thunder, and this will still be the Pro E-Series, the best of the best battling here. The playoffs looming, and Cherry out in front. We haven't seen anything competitive from the 48, Greg, since that crazy race at Talladega,
which he picked up the win in. He's had some bad luck since then, but this is what he needed to do. Channeling that number 48 success at Pocono. Jimmie Johnson won a race or 2 here at this track in his career. Of course, not returning to Pocono, at least in the 48 car, because remember, it came out when it was announced for his deal with Ganassi for the IndyCar. There were a couple of open dates that were for a Cup car out of the Ganassi garage. Maybe Pocono, one of Johnson's best tracks, might be one of those ones on that schedule. We still have to see what will happen, but the rumor is Jimmie Johnson will make a couple of starts in Cup in a 3rd Ganassi car next year.
And I think that's only fitting, seriously. I mean, the guy's talented. Put him in a car. He still got it. Maybe sometimes you don't fit in where you used to be at. But once they put him in another opportunity, things are live and freshened up again. You never know what could happen. But now the 48 car now going to be driven by Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman stepping out of the 88 car, which, by the way, was the prodigy of Dale Earnhardt Jr. after he retired. Even before that, they put him in the 88 car, 88 down to the 48. After Johnson retires, who's going to be there? Now the question is now, of course, in the world of racing, whether you are a dirt fan, a pavement fan, a NASCAR fan, and even an esports fan for that matter, where is Kyle Larson gonna go? Since it was announced this afternoon, Greg, that NASCAR has said, okay, we're gonna reinstate you in 2021.
So the question remains to be seen. Where is Kyle Larson going to go? I can tell you right now, Wesley, I am very excited no matter what. Kyle Larson is one of the most talented drivers, if not the most talented driver in the nation right now. He can win in anything, no matter where he winds up, be it Hendrick, be it Stewart-Haas, be it somewhere we're not expecting. It's going to be very, very fun, and that team is instantly going to be a championship contender no matter what the situation is.
Underway here at Pocono for the Ezra Pro Series. It is Matt Cherry out in front. Hank Kasten, by the way, he was a Charlotte winner. And he's another one of those drivers, Greg, that they've won races, but they just have not accumulated enough starts or points to be able to be locked into the playoffs.
Yeah, Kasten in the 36 winner as Charlotte had a dominating performance at Charlotte, but has not had the luck in the other races since then. Quiet at Dover last week in this car, so did not have that great of a run, so was not able to build on that Charlotte victory. Solid start here today, though. Started 6th up to 2nd. Took a peek to the bottom there of Matt Cherry inside to turn number 3. The biggest mover of the race right now, one of those drivers who started with the provisional, that is Mike Woolley in the number 13. He's the biggest mover they thus far. Started 22nd, currently being scored in 15th position. He's up 7 spots from the start of this race. Biggest mover thus far.
There you go. As Cherry, Wirtz, Aston, Lovett, Jurgen in the top 5. Continuing to rock and roll. Hey, by the way, this is just the first race of 2 Cup events tonight. Later, 11:15 Eastern Time, Justin Prince, Greg Rance right now, who's on color with me, will be in the booth. I'll be on the pit lane. And we're going to go all the way from Pocono, Pennsylvania on a rocket flying back down south to Atlanta, the opening playoffs of Season 1 of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. It should be a good one. The truck race was crazy. We'll see what that one entails coming up here this evening. And that'll be live on LSR TV, your home for sim racing, as well as on CRN Sports, the voice of live sim racing now. All the events, not only, and Greg, we hit it on this yesterday. I love this new partnership that we have, because not only is it the, and I've already talked to some people even on social, like yesterday, saying, wow, man, I was driving and I was watching some of it on YouTube or the race on Facebook, and then I had to go somewhere with my family, and I wasn't able to watch it because we're driving. Got to be safety first. But I was able to put it on my surround screen or on my surround speakers in my car, and I was able, like, listening to the race, and it was like an MRN atmosphere, if you will, calling the esports, and we're really excited about that, as well as sponsoring the swag, what used to be the swag one to go, now is the CRN one to go, and a battle for the lead.
Battle for the lead as Caston trying to make a move on Cherry. Cherry able to hold on here. Correction, that's Brian Wirtz in the 82 who has gotten around Caston. So Wirtz, one of those drivers who's locked into the playoffs already. He's now going after Cherry for the lead. Meanwhile, one car already out of the race, and Wesley, it's a big one because Isaac Mock in the 95. You see his name in blue. He's in the top 12, but not locked in yet. He had the connection issues, the dreaded connection issues, the iRacing version of motor trouble. He is out of the race already, and if he doesn't make it back out, look where he is at the bottom of the ticker in 23rd.
That's 3 cars right now that are out of this race, or actually 2 cars actually now. So that's a tough break for Mock and Wiley to be in right now. Of course, remember, Ramsey is the series director for the series, so that is what's going on. So
meanwhile, Wirtz has gotten to the lead. Ooh, Cherry getting up close to the wall on the front stretch. Again, close to the wall. Matt Cherry trying to get all that momentum built up to perhaps make a move to the inside of turn number 1 here. Wirtz saw coming, and he made his move quickly as Cherry now has to go to the inside, on board with the 48 of Cherry as they come down the short chute towards that tricky tunnel turn in Wesley. This turn 2 right here is now Cherry under pressure now from Lovett in the 41. This turn they're heading into right now, the trickiest part of the tricky triangle. They're in the tunnel turn now.
Yeah, for sure. Watching them as they work their way currently through that part of the racetrack and kind of holding it together for the time being. See if that will still continue to be there as they work their way into that turn. And again, one thing we talked about, all 3 different straightaways are from different great tracks across the country that have been mimicked and mocked here. Like Indianapolis, like Milwaukee Mile, like Trenton, New Jersey. Just some of the tracks that I think those are the 3 actually that each, all of them are. This is the one that's mocked by Trenton, New Jersey, right here, and then there's the one down the straightaway that's mocked by what is the Milwaukee Mile, and then the final one is the cornering around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So I think it's really unique that the people that built this track had to find a way to build such a masterpiece and make it so unique and different.
Yeah, it's so cool how these drivers were able to put it all together here at the Pocono Raceway here in the Long Pond of Pennsylvania. Going back to one thing we talked about a moment ago, Wesley, and this is going to tie in with the conversation about the racetrack, Pocono. You mentioned us being live on CRN now, and you're able to listen to it like the radio. Remember, NBC, when they come here, they like to do radio-style broadcasts here at Strack. What that means is each member of their broadcast team is in a different location on the track. They'll have one in the tower. They'll have one up off of turn number 1, one down towards the tunnel turn, and another one down towards turn number 3. They do it radio style, just like you would hear on MRN, but it's the TV feed. So much like what we're doing here tonight, this track is just known for that radio style broadcast. And honestly, it's one of the most fun broadcasts of the year, hearing that kind of perspective from the voices you're used to hearing on NBC Sports in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think it's very unique that they have that type of atmosphere. And of course, another one that they follow as well and mimic is Watkins Glen. When they do the road course races at Watkins Glen, they normally bring in a friend of mine that I know from the network, Mike Bagley, and they have those guys normally go in there and they put them in the different parts around the road courses and stuff. Or Indianapolis too, they did it. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool that I think it makes a different environment here. And I think that's one of the things that we kind of hit on is, we want to try to make it where if you can't watch it, you can at least try to be in your car driving down the road, or if you're at the work or if you're at the office, like your job, your 9-to-5 job, Greg, or something like that, where you can listen. And we're really, really excited about it. It is the Elite Sim Racing Association on deck here now on LSR TV, your home for sim racing as well as on CRN Sports. And it has been all Matt Lovett leading the way. Honestly, besides the craziness earlier with Cherry trying to get up there and make something happen, as now he has fell back inside the top 5 or more, it's been the Lovett show, and this is the man that is currently running for that championship as well.
Yeah, he just got around Brian Wirtz on the tunnel turn that last time by to take the lead back for his second turn up front. 16 laps in the books, working lap number 17, all clean and green thus far. And Wesley, the two drivers locked in, Matt Lovett and Wirtz, they're nose to tail off of turn 1 right now. They have put almost 2 seconds over now a very tight battle for third. Where did Stephen Evasius come from? In the Kevin Harvick number 12 car, all of a sudden he's up in the top 5 after starting outside the top 10.
Working their way around the racetrack with Lovett still out in front. Wirtz, Cherry, Evasius, Kasten, Ditchner. And, Greg, we talked about this before. Pocono is one of these racetracks where, you can set yourselves up for long green flag runs, and then we can set ourselves up for caution after caution after caution. And I know we've said that, reiterated on so many other racetracks, but Pocono is just one of those places that can provide here at Pocono that type of racing atmosphere. Look at how wide the front straightaway is as we got a car stalled just down below the pit lane. A problem here that's coming off of pit road. Was that Kasten?
No, that's Isaac Mock. That's the driver who was having the connection issues. He's just now getting back out on track. Wesley, he is 13 laps down. He came down pit road on lap number 3. He just now got back out to start lap number 4 in that number 95 car. It took him 13 laps to get those connection issues fixed.
Wow. And remember, there is that 2-lap rule that is also on the series for the Ezra series. If you do have a blinking signal internet issue on your end, they give you 2 laps, Greg, to get it fixed. And if you do not, Mr. Ramsey will bump you from the race.
Correct, and that's almost what happened there with Isaac Mock as he pulled in to get those issues fixed. 14 laps down now in the number 95. You have the 2-lap rule. If you don't get it fixed in those 2 laps, you are out of the race. You're done. And so far, it hasn't been an issue today as Mock was able to get down to pit road and try to get it fixed. Looks like he has for now. We'll have to see what happens, though. Meanwhile, up front, Lovett, Wirtz, and Evasius up to 3rd in the 12.
And a good show they are putting on so far. Understanding Mock back out off on the... Back out. Is he out of the race or back out on the pit lane? he is back out of the race again. So that might have possibly sealed his fate right there for sure.
Yeah, Isaac Mock did one more lap and then pulled back in and loaded up on the trailer. Isaac Mock done for the day. Second car out of the race. Jason Wiley did not start this race. He never even climbed in his car to take the green flag of this one.
Look at him going 3 wide. Some crazy racing now starting to pick up here.
This is deep in the field. This is 7th on back. That's Casey Gilchrist up there. The 39 of Casey Clark Jr. He's a driver in that red and white 39 car, Wesley. He's on the outside looking into the playoffs. All these guys around him, they're all in the blue with the exception of that orange car behind him. And Flumen into number 22. So that 39 and that 22, they got to get in front of all these guys.
Another lap continuing here for the drivers as they work their way down the front straightaway, coming up on 20 laps into this event. 20 of 98 laps as this race is underway. The Barnes Paving and Trucking Incorporated LLC event, but riding on board on the swag cam with the 39 of Casey Clark. We'll see what he can do here as he works his way down the front straightaway, back into Trenton Turn 1. This is between 8th and 9th. Clark, Josh Mayu behind him for that spot there, Greg.
Yeah, this is all going on for 7th on back in the field. Casey Gilchrist, Casey Clark Jr., Josh Mayu, and others behind them. Alec Coates, he's in the blue. Flumen is in the red in that number 22. Ryan Hedrick out of the contention for the playoff spot, but trying to get up there and play spoiler before you find Knighton in the 83. He is trying to hold on to the blue spot. Woolley, who is the lowest scored driver in the blue, still running right now. Jurgen in the 92, after having such a strong qualifying run, all of a sudden he's at the tail end in 17th right now. He's in trouble. He could possibly be eliminated from contention if this race doesn't go his way.
Let's take a look at your top 5 presented by Sawblade.com. As we get ready for our first round of commercials presented by ETE Reman, it's right now. Matt Lovett leading the way. Works, Cherry, Evasius, Caston, the top 5. Back from Pocono on LSR TV and CRN Sports when we return with the Nezra Pro Series at Pocono.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
Back here at Pocono, the Ezra Pro E Series, a Thunder Series. Remember, that's the starter program. The junior division, they run on Tuesday night. And we watch these drivers work their way back into the corner. Matt Lovett continuing to lead the way. Brian Wirtz, Matt Cherry, Hank Caston. Stephen Evasius now in the top 5. Approaching now the 25th lap, or the upcoming 25 laps. And for the most part, it has been fairly clean. No problems at all here, Greg. And we're actually separating the pack amongst each other, and that's not because of pit stops either.
No, we have not yet been to pit road. Wesley, that's coming up here pretty soon, though, for these guys. But, yeah, it's been a clean and green race. And for those of you watching, make sure you tell your friends, hey, this is a nice, clean race. Get them in here. Share the link to your friends. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Get your friends watching this race and get them to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell as well, because these guys are putting on a heck of a show so far, and the way they're running, it's going to be over pretty quickly, and your friends might miss out on something special here. So make sure you guys get them tuned in. Get your friends out here and have them come in and say hi in the chat as well.
Be a part of the fun and the excitement that is the Ezra Pro E-Series here. What a show they're putting on. Last 5 weeks of racing has been very fun. Pocono here today. Willen and Dillon slicing and dicing. A little battle there. There's Casey Clark on the outside, trying to make a run on Gilchrist. This is for the top 10. 7th and 8th as Clark goes up the racetrack. Opens up down to the bottom and allows 2 more to go to the inside, with Mayu and more to the inside going around him again.
Battle deep in the field right now, and these are all drivers who are on the bubble or trying to get in the bubble of the playoffs right now. The lone exception being Hedrick in the 9 car, who is right there, the Napa 9 car. Boy, that car has been pretty successful this season on the NASCAR side with Chase Elliott driving it. Other than Hedrick in that number 9 car right now, all these drivers are in the playoff picture right now, trying to either hold on to a spot in the top 12 or get themselves in a spot in the top 12.
That's right. Trying everything they can to fight their way into those playoff spots. You see the ticker that our producer Charles has created. The green means they're in the playoffs for the postseason coming up after Richmond in 2 weeks. The blue means they're on the cusp of making it in. You're just not kicked the door down just yet. Red means, hey, you're kind of in the back of the line, but you still got a smidgen chance of success getting in there. And if you're in the black, yeah, your chances are probably slim to none in the next 2 weeks to make it to the postseason. That's an honest way of saying it.
If you're in the black, sorry, bud. You are probably out of contention for the championship. We're on board with Alec Coates right now in the number 10, in position number 10. He's one of those drivers in the blue. Whoa, one car slid up the track right in front of him. That was Mayu in the 02, had such a strong run at Dover last week. Wesley was up in contention for the victory at the end of it. There is your lead, or second place driver, Wirtz in the 82, trying to track down your leader, Matt Lovett in the 41. Those two have done a spectacular job pulling away from the rest of the field. Look at that margin, Wesley. Almost 5 seconds over them in third place, Hank Caston.
Picking them up and putting them down for sure. What a talented bunch of guys these are. Working down the straightaway. Is it only fitting that those drivers in 1 and 2 are already the cream of the crop, the pick of the litters, if you will, in the playoffs?
Not at all. These drivers have been the top 2 all season long here in this series. Wirtz has yet to pick up a victory in this series, but he has been so strong so many times that he's just been so consistent. That consistency has him locked in to this playoff hunt here along with Matt Lovett. Could Wirtz possibly get that first win and get a lot of momentum going? Remember, after this, there's only one shot left to get yourself in the playoffs and get that momentum going. Wirtz doesn't have to worry about that, but a win in these final 2 races before moving into the playoffs would definitely be a big momentum boost.
And remember, can I say something here as well? For those drivers that are in the black box, if they win, that changes things for them. Kind of.
Maybe. We'll have to double check that. I believe the ones in black are officially mathematically eliminated.
Okay, well, then
I believe that's what the case is. But for the drivers in red and blue, that could very much change the complexion of their season. Remember, Caston and Cherry have wins so far this season in 6 and 48, sitting 5th and 6th on the board right now. They have wins, but they're not yet locked in because their season has been kind of iffy other than that. By the way, look at Anthony Fitchner, started 11th. Where did he come from? He's in 4th.
Do I now? Oh. So you have to go in on points, definitely. I mean, obviously winning helps you because you get the top points, but This series is not one of those where you just win a race and you make it to the playoffs. You got to fight your way in, not just with wins, but also by virtue of competing every week. And so, yes, if they are in the black, they're pretty much mathematically eliminated, even if they were to win to go to the playoffs, Greg. You are exactly correct. Thanks, buddy.
Working it here. Working lap number 30 right now, Wesley. We have yet to see green flag pit stops, and on a 2.5-mile oval or triangle, that's kind of surprising. When do you think we're going to start seeing these drivers on pit road?
Well, we haven't seen anybody pit just yet. We're 30 laps in. There's, 68 laps to go. I'm thinking they're probably going to pit within the next... Now. They're pitting right now. I was thinking within the next 10 laps, but they just proved me wrong. Here they come down to the pit lane. Wow.
Yeah. That's your top two on track. So far, they're the only two to make the left-hander. Nope, everybody's coming behind them with the exception of the 87 of Fitchner, I believe, was the driver that stayed out. Mayu stayed out as well, but Fitchner going out to lead a lap. Everybody else is on pit road.
Pit stop city. Here they come. 4 tires and fuel for the drivers. Filling up the tanks, getting new sides of rubber, or as our colleague and executive producer, Mr. Charles Wooten, always says, oh, 24 shot box. He's in reverse on pit road as well. That is a faulty mistake there on the 24 car. Holy big. Sean Lottison. The Rainbow Warrior colors at 24. And while that goes on, love it. Off the pit lane first.
So love it. Back out in front. He loves it in that number 41. But here comes Wirtz on the outside. Remember, Wirtz led a couple laps earlier today. He's showing, hey, I've got some speed here in my 82 car. I want to go out and try to win a race and get that momentum built. I don't have a win this season. I want it, but I don't have it just yet. Loose there off the tunnel turn, and we've talked about it, Wesley. That is such a tricky part of the racetrack. Leader on pit road, Fitchner and Mayu both on pit road. They're making stops now as the rest of the field comes in.
Okay, so here's what we're noticing, Greg. I was thinking around 35, 40 laps they'd come down to the pit lane. We're noticing that they're going to have to at least pit 2 more times. At least.
Looking at the numbers...
I don't know if they could stretch it to 1 pit stop more.
Looking at the numbers, they are on the cusp of doing that. Alec Coates, I'm looking at him right now, came down pit road on lap 31 to begin lap number 32. Right. At that math, if he did that 2 more times, he would have to pit with 2 laps to go. If that was an absolute max fuel run, he could go 32 laps. He would have to pit with 2 laps to go. He was one of the last cars to pit. Yeah, I think we're going to have to see 2 more stops here. I don't think you can stretch it on 1.
That's what I'm honestly thinking as well. You have to. And by the way, another driver that, as we're looking at the scoring pylon, that I've just recently noticed that's not here, and he is currently right now. And I mentioned him during the introductions with the points. 7th in the point standings, Brandon Frontapple from Warsaw, Virginia. He's not here. The 5 car is not here tonight for Pocono.
That's big, too, because Frontapple has been strong. Again, another one of those drivers who has been strong but has yet to pick up a victory in this series, but has been very fast all season long. Michael Woolley in the number 13 is still out there. He was scored the last time as a racer. He just made his pit stop. He's getting back up to speed now. Brian Wirtz is going to re-inherit the lead. So first round of pit stops is done. Now, Wesley, Woolley came in at lap 33.
Yeah.
I think he can make it. I believe Woolley can make it on 1 more stop if he starts saving now. If he can replicate that, if we go green the rest of the way, I think Woolley can make it.
And Woolley, the man of the 13 from Ohio, will see what... Or Illinois, from Eddington, Illinois, for Dark Horse Racing. For NVIDIA. We'll see what he can do. There is this car right there. We're talking about him. but it cycles back around to, of course, Wirtz going back to the lead. Lovett second. Evasius, Caston, Fitchner moving up to fourth. Caston falling back to fifth. Perry, Clark, Hedrick, Gilchrist, Mayu in the top 10. And you mentioned Woolley a moment ago. He is in 18th right now. 30 plus seconds back. 33 seconds back behind the leader. But you're saying don't give up on him, though, right? Got a shot.
I'm saying Woolley might be able to stretch it if he can do what he did this first run. I think it's possible, but it is going to be difficult.
By the way, in addition to our coverage on LSR TV, your home for sim racing, we also are live on CRN Sports, and we've also shared on all of the multiple social media outlets for the broadcast, for course of Facebook and YouTube as we watch this race continue. Greg, you were going to reiterate on that thought with Woolley. Go ahead.
Yeah, Woolley, I was talking about, I think he can make it on one more stop, but he has to start saving now. He has to not push it this run.
So do you feel like being mired all the way back in 30-plus position, or 30 seconds back, is that good for Michael, you think? Because he's out of trouble? He can run his own race?
Well, for me and the way I like to drive, no. I would be not even thinking about one stop the rest of the way. I would be doing, you know what? Nope, 2 stops the rest of the way, see what happens.
Yeah.
But I'm not the one in the driver's seat. So, with that, who knows what's going through the mind right now of Michael Woolley. 32 seconds back, currently being scored in 17th position. Hey, if you've got a shot, if you think you can steal it, why not?
And you know what Charles always says about me? I can't drive 65. And I need a haircut also. Yes, I promise you, Charles, by the time of the Snowball Derby in December at Pensacola, I will have a haircut ready for the race in December in Florida.
I don't have that issue. Ask Aunt Kathy why.
You're bald?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hey, by the way, speaking of another friend of mine, Kyler Hope told me to tell you hello. He saw you a couple of weeks ago.
Kyler, yeah. I saw him at the Yakima Speedway Fall Classic and at Wenatchee. Saw him the week
that's
before
what he was talking
Wenatchee.
about. Yes, sir. He said, yeah, man, I know Greg. You work with Greg? I was like, yeah. He's like, I thought I heard y'all were doing some stuff together. So,
Kyler's a good guy. I like him.
He was telling me he's possibly going to try to run some of the Northwest Tour events presented by Joe's Racing Products whenever we go live on November 1st on LSR TV and CRN.
Oh, I'm going to start bugging him the second this race is over. Say, hey, I heard you were thinking about bringing a late model out to play. I'm going to get on him as soon as this race is over about that.
He's already said that he's planning on it. Just got that crazy schedule, you know. Poor guy drove all the way from Washington all the way back down to Winchester for the 400, and then came back down to Charlotte, and he's staying here until at least after the Derby in December. So, yeah. Yeah, Bob Dillner's kidnapped him for a couple of months.
Yeah. It's awesome to have Speed 51 represented with the state of Washington once again. We've had a couple people over the past, Jeremy Anders, Sherry Garber did some work for them for a while, but with them not being with them anymore, it's been kind of like, okay, we don't really have a lot of coverage here in the Northwest, but with Kyler coming on board, it's definitely helped put us back in the spotlight, and Kyler has been there for some great races. You can catch him on Speed 51.
Yeah, definitely. We appreciate that shameless plug as well. I never said the company. You did. I'm not going to get in trouble with Charles. You will. So, but thank you. Charles, send him the invoice. Is it? He said he can't fire you. Aunt Kathy would leave. Aunt Kathy says, man, it's pretty sparse on top tonight. It's pretty quiet in chat. People, say hello. Hola. Say hello to Aunt Kathy.
Where you guys
Kathy,
at?
we love you. We love you, Aunt Kathy.
Well, I know Kathy's in Ephrata, Washington, about 2 hours to the west of where I'm at. Where are you guys at? Rest of in the chat. What was that?
Have you got any cheesecake from her yet?
Not yet. I still owe her a diet soda from an earlier race.
Oh, wow. So you just racking up the debt.
Do you say what? Cheese toast? Our producer's talking about food in our ear once again. Oh, Cheetos.
Oh, Cheetos. And probably his hot fire Cheetos is what he was telling me about. He said that was an abomination if you dropped it on the floor in the Wooten family. to the race. As we are approaching 40 laps, remember lap 40 or 54 will be halfway.
19 cars on the lead lap, but there is one beginning to close, or the leaders are beginning to close in. It's Sean Laudison in the 24, who, remember, Wesley, going back to the pit stops, that car right there, the old Rainbow Warrior 24, he had issues coming on the pit road, slid through his pit stall, and he has really just struggled. There you see the leaders behind him, so he's in trouble going a lap down here, 19th position. You can see the name black on the ticker. He is out of the hunt for the playoffs. He's just out there logging laps and trying to steal a victory from these guys. But there's your leaders right there. Laudison's only about 3 seconds ahead of them right now.
Yeah, my apologies. I don't know what I was thinking about saying 54. My math was off in my head. Lap 49 will be halfway. If you do the math, that is the distance of the 98 laps.
That's a good number. 49ers picked up the big win on Sunday Night Football right as we went off the air in Adrenaline iRacing last night.
Man, my Steelers are undefeated. The 49ers helped me win in my fantasy football. I'm looking good. I'm about to go to the #1 seed in fantasy football for Speed 51. So, yeah, I'm happy as well. They're doing good. Kicking butt and taking names.
I got to double check.
It's been a good weekend.
I got to double check. I've been in the championship game 2 years in a row, but I think I was like middle of the pack right now. I've been struggling.
I am literally going to tie at 4-2 with the #1 seed, and he lost today. So it's going to be 4-2 and 4-2. And last year I was horrible in fantasy football. Like I had no chance. But this year, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers, baby, having a great year. But Greg, I got to give props to you though. On another note, you know I'm going to say it. As we see a lead change here, Matt Lovett getting back around, works for the lead again. Go figure. Matt Lovett in the Works Show here at Pocono so far as we approach halfway, 7 to halfway, might I add. And might I add as well, congratulations to your LA Dodgers coming back and beating the Braves to go to the World Series. Man, yeah, so heartbroken, man. Wow.
I was fired up about it, too, because the last update I had seen, because I was watching the 49ers game, I was going back and forth between the last thing I had seen, it was 2-1 Braves. So I was watching the 49ers game, watch us get that victory, flipped it over to catch the end of the Dodger game, and all of a sudden I saw we were up 4-3. I was like, oh, my gosh. And I'm pretty sure with a 49ers victory and then the Dodgers winning the NLCS for the third time in 4 years, pretty sure I couldn't have asked for a better night on a Sunday night for sports. So definitely happy with the way that is. Great series to you guys as well. You guys had a great year down there in Atlanta. So looking forward to seeing what you guys have in the future because you guys still are a very young team. Looking forward to that. Meanwhile, Ditchner, he's saying, you know what, my time is now. He wants to get back up there and contend for the lead. He just got around Evasius for the third spot. So Ditchner trying to come back up in number 87. But what's a great series, went all 7 games. But you know, I gotta say, I am so mad at the Tampa Bay Rays right now. Not because of anything they've done as a team, as a player, an executive, nothing. I'm just mad that I don't get a shot at the Astros again.
And by the way, there is an opportunity for Tampa, the state of Florida, to go for 2 national championships right now. They are going after, of course, the World Series with the Dodgers. And then they've already locked up the NHL Stanley Cup championship with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
But don't forget, LA is in the exact same boat. The Lakers just won the NBA championship.
That's right. That's right.
So both cities, Tampa and LA, either one of them is winning 2 championships in about a 3-week span. The question is, which one is it?
And I know I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's a fluke, it shouldn't count, season was cut in half, blah, 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 blah. Look, the guys got back out there. They finished the races just like in the Cup Series, just like we've seen in sports. And, you know, I will just say this as a friend of mine told me, and it has to do with esports, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever. We need sports in our life because that is our getaway to the craziness that we deal with in the world.
I will never take live sports for granted again after being without them for how long was it? 4 months?
3 months, 4 months, maybe more. Yeah.
Yeah. After that, I will never take live sports for granted again.
we are approaching halfway in this virtual esports event with the Ezra Elite Sim Racing Association. Halfway is approaching. We're going to go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Here's a look at the Saw Blade top 5 as we do that. Love it. Wirtz right there with Ditchner, Avasius, and Caston. Second half from Pocono in what's been a fairly clean race. Ready for the second half when we return. Ezra on LSR TV and the voice of live sim racing, CRN Sports, in a moment.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do actually any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we'll do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything. Hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. Just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customers. So you just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing. And if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. You can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink colors. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees@yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
Back here at Pocono. And we're ready for the second half of this event. You check out the Saw Blade top 5 there just a moment ago. Welcome back to the Barnes Paving 245. The second half about to get underway. So far, caution free here on LSR TV for those watching on all of our affiliates and listening on your voice of live sim racing, CRN Sports from the virtual Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, PA. I'm Wesley Outley and Greg Rentz alongside Charles Wooten in the production chair. In the second half upon us, let's take a look at also the sawblade.com weather conditions. We had checked that earlier, but boy, it's a hot one. Man, 79 degrees outside, partly cloudy skies, but it looks like they should have said sunny. I don't see no clouds anywhere. And the track temperature is almost 120 degrees.
That's hot. They are slipping and sliding around here, Wesley. We're also about 12 to 15 laps away from our second round of pit stops here, as well as the laps continue to click away. By the way, leaders are catching up to lap traffic for the first time. That is Lottison in the number 24 in trouble of going a lap down. 19 cars on the lead lap. That is Lottison in the 19th position. Final car on the lead lap. 2 cars out of the race, Jake Elrod and Isaac Mock. David DeFazio and Cody Cox are both being scored 1 lap down after coming down for a second pit stop earlier in the race.
Hey, by the way, don't forget tonight, obviously, the playoffs get underway for the Northwest Cup Series, round 1 in Atlanta. Tomorrow night, it is the World of Thunder Cup Series. Airtime 6:45 Eastern Time. It's an afternoon event, a little earlier than usual on LSR TV and CRN Sports. And immediately following that, we're slinging the dirt. Nolan Rimple and myself on the call for the Swag Studio Displays Super Late Model Dirt Series, presented by Studio Displays. And again, we're at the Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania, for the ShopFergie22.com Breast Cancer Awareness Night presented by Body Balance by Rhonda. That is tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be on the air probably around 9:15 or so with coverage on LSR TV, Race on Texas, and your voice of sim racing, CRN Sports for audio. So that is really cool. Some of the cool events coming up Wednesday as well. I'll just go over the rest of the schedule here since there's no changes. We're after halfway. Lovett still beating Wertz, Avasia, Stitchner, and cast in the top 5. Wednesday, the next round of what is the S&B Cup Series. And a lead change. What do you know? Wertz gets back around. Going back to the lead.
He did that up there going into turn 3, off turn 2, but Lovett not going away, Wesley. Getting right up on the back bumper of him. Watch for the move down to the bottom here, going in the long 2,700-foot front straightaway. Let's see if Lovett tries it. No. Wertz able to get around him.
He thought about it, contemplated, just couldn't shut the door and capitalize for it. By the way, Wednesday, S&B Cup Series presented by Appalachian Hauler Hunters. They'll be in action on Wednesday night. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Thursday is going to be kind of a quiet night, but we'll also have the PMI Truck Series, the PMI Swag Super Truck Series, and that is going to be the Color Street 200. Also presenting awareness for breast cancer. That's race number 2. The Color Street Breast Cancer Awareness 250. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on LSR TV. Also Race on Texas and CRN Sports. And then, of course, no Northwest Truck Series event. They're off this Thursday. And then Friday, we come back for the On the Rail Designs Paint Shop Fall Brawl. Man, what a fun time they've been having lately. We've seen some incredible racing. And guess what, Greg? Their finale is next week. And here's what the lineup will entail. They're going to be at Charlotte for Twin 30s for the Legend Cars to decide their championship. As we have a battle for the lead again happening again. Lovett gets around Wertz one more time.
I think Wertz may have caught the wall, Wesley. I wonder if we can take a look at a swag replay for the first time tonight, believe it or not.
Yeah, the first one tonight.
I think Wertz caught the wall in the tunnel turn there. Not quite sure if that is what happened or not, because he really checked up on corner exit, had to chase it down to the bottom. Let's take a look at our swag E-Wraps and graphics replay on screen. You see him cut down, but I don't think he got the wall looking at it on the replay, but he definitely got close, and it was enough to get the air off the rear of the spoiler there, which allowed Lovett to get back around him.
Enough to capitalize, if you will, and make that advantage to get back and take that leader again. So, but honestly, it's been these battles of 2 already, and I'll be honest with you, Greg, we are approaching the second round of green flag pit stops, as so far no yellow flag has fell here for the Ezra Pro Series tonight in round 9 at Pocono. But by the way, speaking of the season finale, this upcoming Friday night, the On-Rail Paints Fall Brawl, live on LSR TV and CRN Sports.
Leaders
and
on
here
pit
they
road,
come. I called it. Didn't I call it perfectly?
That's the second time in a row we've started talking about green flag pit stops, and here we go once again. Now we know for sure with them kind of short pitting compared to what we saw last time, they are not going to be able to make it to the end. They're going to have to pit again. They are committed to the 2-stop strategy from here. If Vasius and Caston also coming down, looks like so far everybody behind them has come down pit road, so it looks like everybody's setting themselves up for 2 stops for the rest of the race.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to. They're probably going to have to come back down to the pits. Oh, my goodness. Maybe before, well,
if they can
tally things here,
if they can replicate what they did on the first run, where they all went 30 to 32 laps,
it'll be around the 85 lap mark.
Yeah, it'll be right around 10 laps to go, 10, 15 laps to go when they pit again.
Unless they're thinking they're going to get a caution.
So far, only one driver has stayed out. That's Jorgensen in the 51, the only driver to stay out thus far. So he comes out to get credit for leading the lap.
Oh, yes, and there is no blend rule here at Pocono as well. Remember,
correct.
You come off the pit lane, you go off at full speed. There is no blend line like you see at Daytona or like last week's race what we were at. You have to stay below the line, the blue line, before you hit the back stretch and then come back on the speedway. So yeah, you come off the pit lane and don't get busted exiting pit road on speed, but you gotta speed. You can get to the gas really quickly when you come back down the straightaway. Yeah.
Yeah, you can make it happen, but you got to be careful with it because you don't want to come up in front of traffic. That no blend line means you're coming right up onto the racing surface. That could spell trouble if you come up a little bit too high off of pit road. And by the way, Lovin and Wirtz have already cycled through to the end, so just about everybody came down pit road on that same lap. That's actually impressive. I don't think I've ever seen that, whether in real life or virtual. I don't think I've ever seen every single driver green flag pit on the exact same lap.
That's exactly right. And while that goes on, we approach another round of the green flag pit stops. We called it perfectly. Okay, can I try this now for the third time, Greg, for
Let's
promotion?
see if we can make it.
For the third time, we'll try to get this out. Friday, the on-rail paints fall brawl, the finale for the series. There is a battle among the ages for the championship. Tyler Payne and Eric Still are tied in the Legends division. 1 point back is Dennis Warnes. And then Pete Pellini and Robert Warnes are fighting for the championship by only 7 points in the Super Late Model division. The race will once again be sponsored by Stan's Harley Davidson, and this is what will it entail. It'll be 2 complete shows for the Legend cars. They're running twin 30s. Okay, twin 30s. Then we will have the 100-lap finale at Martinsville Speedway for the Super Late Models.
Woo-hoo.
Could be fun. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. It's all live on LSR TV, and you can listen on CRN Sports, the voice of live sim racing, this Friday night. Saturday, thank goodness, Charles, we're off. No 6 hours of Daytona I don't know about. Oh, we picked up a new 12-hour series, so stay tuned for details on that. No, I'm just playing. We're just playing. False alarm, okay? And Sunday, we're off. So Charles gets a couple days off now. But coming soon, Sunday night, I think it's November 1st, man. It's going to be cool. It's going to be the debut of the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products right out of the gate. I understand we were talking about it earlier, Greg. What, 64, 65 cars signed in to run for that race at USA International Speedway, Lakeland, Florida?
And that was as of about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And you saying Kyler Hope might be coming out. We've been talking to some other drivers about trying to get them involved. So we could see a record car count for the Northwest Tour for the opener. We usually get upwards of 50 to 60 cars for the opener at USA International, the 3/4 mile oval from Lakeland, Florida. No longer there in real life, but we love visiting there. It reminds us of one of our tracks here in the Northwest, Wesley. It reminds me of actually my home track, Spokane County Raceway in Airway Heights, Washington. It was a half-mile oval, but it was laid out exactly like USA. It's still there. Unfortunately, it's been closed since 2018. We got one race in and then had to pack it up, and it hasn't seen action since then. But USA International, pretty much the bigger brother of Spokane County Raceway. Same exact banking, same exact layout, just a little bit longer, 3/4 of a mile as opposed to a half mile. So a lot of drivers really love going to this track, like a big Spokane, they call it. And that's why you see so many drivers entered into this initial race here for season number 4 of the Joe's Racing Products iRacing Northwest Tour. But the first here on LSR TV.
And I'm always a fan of Joe's Racing Products because every year at the Snowball Derby, let's go down to our Joe's Racing Products pit reporter, Wesley Outland. So, yeah, So it's an awesome relationship, and now getting Joe's Racing Products involved with esports, which I think they've kind of been involved a time or two, but it sounds like they're getting fully involved now, being the title sponsor. Hopefully they'll do a lot more stuff with LSR TV as well. We'll see some commercials and promotions with them. Definitely. As this battle of cat and mouse continues, the cat goes that way, the mouse goes that way, I grab him with my paw. That goes that way, grab him with the paw. And that's the battle we're seeing between Wirtz and Lovett. The battle of cat and mouse, Tom and Jerry, down the back straightaway here, as they have both been the dominant cars at Pocono as we approach 60 laps in, coming to the home stretch of things.
So we're closing in here at Pocono, working lap number 61 of 98, closing in on 2/3 the distance here at Pocono. Matt Lovett and Brian Wirtz have been the class of the field all day long, but Fitcher's closing, Wesley, in at number 87. Fitcher's the fastest car on the track. He has shaved it down to just over 3 seconds now. About 5 laps ago, right after the pit stops, it was 7 seconds. He is shaving it down. As I say that, he lost a full second there, so something happened to Fitcher on that lap. But that gap has been shrinking ever so slightly each lap.
Which is how many hairs on your head, Greg? There is a contest asking how many hairs of head is on your head.
33.
You have 33?
I don't know.
Is that?
So, funny story on this, as I'm going to go ahead and do some self-depreciation humor here.
There you go.
We were in the break room one day at work, my actual job. We were in the break room, and we were eating McDonald's for lunch. And my friend, he read somewhere, he's like, hey, check this out, Greg. McDonald's French fry grease supposedly helps restore hair loss. I was like, ha, 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 very funny. So I was tired, so I fell asleep in the break room. Woke up to him actually rubbing a French fry on my head. I was like, what in the world are you doing? He's like, I wanted to see if it worked. Yeah. As Wesley tries to gather his breath, yes, Cody and Kathy is the official cheerleader of the Northwest Tour. Yeah. No, it is not me.
I think I found myself a cheerleader. She's the one that I've always leader. Pit stops are underway again.
That is the 24 of Lottison.
Sean Lottison, yeah.
Remember, he had the slip up that cost him. So he actually went out about the distance that we thought they could go the rest of the way, or on that cycle. So Lottison coming down
pit stop
road.
was the nice way of our producer telling Greg to tell Wesley to shut up.
Yeah.
Because I am not a singer. Okay? I'm the guy that's singing the back of the choir. All right? Yeah.
I thought you were still laughing about the French fry story.
Well, I was laughing about that, and then whenever you said should we talk about the official cheerleader of the Northwest Tour, and you said it was Aunt Kathy, then I just kind of broke into that song back in the early 2000s that was really popular, you know. Ooh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader.
Did you see how quickly the viewership plummeted here on the stream when you started singing?
Please come back. I'm sorry. I won't sing no more. Oh,
15
wow.
cars on the lead lap here at Pocono, here in this penultimate race of the regular season.
I'm straining to find stuff to talk about here, Greg. It's your fault.
No, it's not.
You went from talking about French fries on bald heads to Miracle Grow to cheerleaders, you know?
Miracle Grow.
Hey, Josh Altice is in the house. He
What
says,
up,
hey,
Josh?
Wesley and Greg, hope you're having a good evening. Looking forward to Wednesday at New Hampshire. That's right, I mentioned it earlier. Altice. It is coverage of the S&B Cup Series presented by Appalachian Hauler Hunters. We will be at New Hampshire for race number 2 of the season. No, he always says I don't say his name right, so I just want to make sure I had that little Altice at the end for the like a snake.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you know?
Wesley Allen is officially launched.
It's Altus. I know it's Altus, but I just said Altus. So, Altus, yes. Altus, we love you, bud. Thank you.
Remember,
By the way, he won that race. That was a crazy race at Daytona last Wednesday.
By the way, Wesley, you didn't get a chance to stick around for the post-race show. Did you ever hear what it was that was the result of Altus getting the win in that? Did you ever hear what the explanation was? That is something that I had never seen on iRacing before. Hopefully, we don't see it again.
All I know is it was something of the degree of there was a wreck and he got caught up in it, and then he started driving backwards down the racetrack with cars still going down the speedway, and they took the win away from him by saying that it was what's the word, EOL penalty, negligent driving. Yeah, they took the win away from him.
iRacing took it away.
Yes,
he got Dairy Queen.
Took it away.
Yeah, he got Dairy Queen at the end of the day. Of course, we're talking about the 33. Altus was able to capitalize by crossing the line second. He was the winner of that race. Joey Petrie in the 33. Yes, he crossed the line first, but because of that penalty, it cost him the win. And it was a very, very controversial finish. We're hoping when we hit New Hampshire this Wednesday, something similar does not happen.
And by the way, Josh is coming unglued. Josh, I know it's not Altis. I was just playing with you. It's Altus, Josh Altus, and he ended up winning the race, by the way, at Daytona. And round 2, New Hampshire, looking for a fun time. A time or two. Anthony Alfredo from the NASCAR Xfinity Series might pop in and run that. Hey, by the way, Greg, Chris Ferguson is planning to run tomorrow night for the Swag Studio Displays Dirt Late Model Series at Lernerville, and he might be bringing a couple of his dirt friends over as well.
Oh, really? That just became must-watch TV on LSR TV, your home for sim racing right there.
Had a fun
Dirt
time
Late
last
Models
week.
tomorrow.
He did. Had a fun time last week. Okay, so here's the thing. We're approaching 30 laps to go. I was thinking about doing a kick in the asphalt, but the pack isn't bunched up together, so I don't know how exciting it would be. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our final commercial break. It'll be extended. We'll thank our sponsors. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a lap of the action, because honestly, it's just been love it and works, flip-flopping the lead back and forth every 10 laps or so. It's been clean and green since the drop of the green flag. And this is Ezra, the Elite Sim Racing Association Pro E-Series on Monday nights on your home for Sim Racing LSR TV, as well as listening on your voice, the voice of live sim racing, CRN Sports at wearecrn.com, sawblade.com, top 5. Final break. We'll take this to the checker flag because it looks like it's going to be wee all the way home, caution free.
I want to show you what we can do. It's like a newborn puppy. Like, I want to show you how cute we are. Come see us. Come see what we can do. You'll be amazed. My name is Kim Connolly-Wilner. I worked for Studio for almost 4 years. I project engineer, creative direction, graphic designer. Outside of Studio, I like to paint, knit, crochet. My favorite thing about working for Studio is the ability to be around like-minded people, and the work is cool. When I was first told about Studio, is the wood shop, the metal shop, and how they can take nothing and build it. That's what I've been around my whole life, so to have the opportunity to actually work here is pretty amazing. When I came onto Studio, Tom was sort of this unicorn. So you'd hear his voice, you'd catch a glimpse of him, you just naturally wanted to be around him. His big smile. I loved to go into his office and kind of poke at him, see what he was working on, have him talk to me about past projects. I wanted to learn what he knew. This is his legacy, everything. You feel him every day. When you sit down and you're starting a new project, it really is something in the back of your mind, like, would Tom like this? Would he think this is cool? You know, he was kind of a mentor to a lot of people, so you don't want to disappoint even though he's not around us anymore.
back here at Pocono. Final 30 laps underway. Under 30 laps remaining. All right. It's been caution-free. It's been Works and Love It, flip-flopping back and forth. Go figure. Brian Works back in front again. And we're also seeing a cycle of the green flag pit stops for the second time in succession happening. 28 laps remaining here. And, you know, for those that are joining us, maybe newbies, we welcome you. And we want to explain all the colors that are on the scoring pylon on the upper left of your broadcast. And, Greg, you can talk about the colors to our fans.
Yeah, we hit on it earlier today as we got another lead change. Brian Wirtz back to the lead in the 82, but he gets loose off the tunnel turn. That's going to allow Lovett to come back to the inside here. So we have battles for the lead as you're watching one car come off of pit road right now. Wirtz and Lovett trading the lead back and forth again here. But going back to the colors here, the green drivers on the ticker, Lovett and Wirtz, they are locked in to the playoffs. Mathematically clinched. The drivers in blue, Kasten, Cherry, Coates, Stitchner, and the rest, they are not locked into the playoffs, but they are in the top 12 positions right now. As the leaders work their way through some heavy lap traffic for the first time tonight, Mayu coming up in front of Lovett there in the 41. That was a little iffy in that one, but
you never explained the colors.
I'm trying, but every time I start, something actually happens. The drivers in blue are in the top 12, but not locked in to the playoffs. The drivers in red, Jake Fluman, Casey Clark, Ed Jurgen. Those drivers are outside of the top 12, but still can jump in to the top 12 in these next two races to get themselves into the playoffs. They got work to do, but they can do it.
And what if you're back in black?
You are out for the race. You are done for the season. Well, you can still race, but you are out of contention for the championship.
And it is only fitting that the two drivers that are already locked into the postseason, with this being the penultimate race of the regular season, Richmond coming up next on the schedule for round 10, is Matt Lovett and Brian Wirtz. 1 and 2 in the points, 1 and 2 on the track, 1 and 2 with green bars, already locked in the postseason.
As the laps click away, we are closing it down here at Pocono. Wesley, it's clicked away pretty quickly here. We're going to complete lap 74, begin lap 75. Clean and green here for 75 laps at Pocono. Been quite the adventure-ish race in this one.
And I'm understanding Brandon Fronapple had a family emergency. What? Not a family emergency. He just had family over, so that's a good thing. It's always good having family over without it being an emergency. So he had just a family gathering going on, so definitely. Yeah.
If they don't leave for too long, he might declare an emergency. I know how that works.
Holidays are around the corner. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad.
Mac and Cheese Day.
Mac and Cheese Day is for Christmas.
Here come your leaders.
Well, they come. I told you.
This is the money stop right here.
They're pitting a little earlier. They're pitting earlier than what we thought here, Greg, honestly.
They're pitting around the same distance they did last time, Wesley. There's about 20 laps on this run. They're setting it up. Final charge here. Leaders on pit road. They can make it from here the rest of the way, provided they stay clean.
We were thinking, though, that if they did, we were thinking they were going to pit with around 10 or 15 laps to go, though.
Yeah,
so they actually kind of pitted a little quicker. They pitted a little quicker than what we thought.
22 to go.
Yeah. Here comes the others on the pit lane. I just don't see anybody having a shot after these guys. What a performance Matt Lovett, Brian Wirtz have put on here. Hank Cass pitting. He wants to play possum and hang with them. And there is, but it's just not on the backstretch. It's right off the pit lane. Yeah. Don't hit the blue cone. You know, there's a friend of mine. You know, he's got the orange cone on Twitter. You know what I'm talking about, Greg? Yep. I don't know if you've ever seen it. The orange cone post. He's a buddy of mine.
Oh, I've seen the orange cone before.
Yeah. So the orange cone. He's always talking about cautions and stupidity, craziness of the NASCAR ARCA sports and whatnot. And so I think we should create the blue cone for esports, for iRacing. Somebody should create the blue cone Twitter handle. What do you think?
Sure. See if we can get orange cone and maybe.
I got too much to do.
Maybe NASCAR Chasm can run it too. The other.
Yeah, there you go.
Big NASCAR account there.
Hey, I gotta admit though, some of the stuff that's on NASCAR Chasm on Twitter. I mean, I know that some of it's ridiculous, but sometimes it's pretty darn funny.
Oh, the Applebee's tweet a couple of years ago actually just popped up in my Facebook memories. That was 2 years ago today. The Applebee's incident. One of my favorite ones to date.
I love Applebee's. But the one that on Talladega Nights where he says, "We're back, where the big one continues." remember the movie Talladega Nights where they're crashing and they played the commercial?
The movie, but all right, Thitchner leading the way. Evasius just a lead in the 12 car. He's going to come around and lead the lap. They have yet to pit. The top three have yet to pit. Evasius, Thitchner, and Ryan Hedrick in the number 9. However, Hedrick just came down pit road and went back out. Right. So now it's the top 2, Evasius and Thitchner, that have yet to pit.
And by the way, Casey Knighton on the pit lane right now. And mind you, can I say this also? Evasius and Thitchner, they're going to have to pit. There is no way mathematically possible that they can try to go the distance here. They can't stretch it. They've got to come to the pits. And when they do that, it's going to cycle right back around to, again, Matt Wirtz and Matt Lovett. Brian Wirtz and Matt Lovett back to 1 and 2. But Brian Wirtz could possibly win this race.
Brian Wirtz could win this. Tim and Lovett have been trading the lead the entire time here through this one. Evasius and Thitchner have yet to pit. You see the interval on screen. They are hanging back there, and they're closing in because remember, Thitchner and Evasius have yet to come down pit road. So, with that being said, how long do you think they will go before they come down pit road? Seems like every time you start talking about it, they pit that lap. So, let's see if that streak continues.
I mean, my thing is this. I really don't think that they can push it, per se, as they're riding on board with the leader after they pit, who's currently in 3rd. Brian Wirtz, up 13 positions in this last sequence of pit stops. And Evasius and Thitchner, they're right there in front of him.
Evasius and Thitchner rolling it
he might pass them. He might pass them without having to have him come down to the pit lane.
Yeah, they are closing in at a big rate of speed, almost a second quicker than them on track right now. Are Wirtz and Lovett. Lovett hanging right there with him. Then it's a good 10 seconds back to Mayu, who will be next up in line.
I mean, there they are, right there. There's 1 through 4. And Wirtz is right out Thitchner's back door. And here he comes down to the inside. Lovett will follow.
That's for second. Wirtz trying to get around Thitchner. Gamble not going to pay off for Thitchner. He's going to need a caution to come out here if he wants to get himself back in this one. Now the sights set on race leader Stephen Evasius. Remember, Wesley Evasius has had some speed in that car, just has not been able to put it together yet tonight. Off of turn number 3 once again. Now Evasius going down to the bottom. He's going to come up the track and try to hold on, but he is losing ground and losing ground fast.
And by the way, we are under 20 laps to go. 19 remaining. Evasius is the leader. There's a good wrench, number 12. And we'll see what he can do now, playing blocker on the leaders. As Stephen Evasius out of Lubeck, Maine, the good wrench machine, 23-year-old out of 4th season on the Pro Series, now dealing with Matt Wirtz, Brian Wirtz, Matt Lovett. They're down, trying to close in. Wirtz will get around Evasius, new leader. Brian Wirtz now. Matt Lovett now clearing Evasius. He'll go to third. And now the battle is on to the home stretch. Here they work their way. 19 to go. Now make it 18 when they come to the straightaway. High above. Hey, first time we've mentioned this. This is from the drone cam. Drone, chopper, or camera or blimp views are brought to you by All American Pools. Our coverage again on LSR TV as they work their way up the racetrack in the turn. Number 1 and 2. Look at it. Following this action, Wirtz and Lovett, mano-y-mano. Here we go again, Greg. Down the home stretch they come.
Half a second separating them here between Wirtz and Lovett. Wirtz and Lovett, the top two in the points, locked in already. Now they're just trying to get an extra win on it. Lovett has several this season. Wirtz has not visited victory lane yet, but has been so strong all season long. It has been a very consistent season. He's locked in into the playoffs, trying to build some momentum with a victory here.
Down the front stretch they come. The laps continue to tick away. This is Ezra, the Elite Sim Racing Association on LSR TV and CRN Sports for the audio coverage. Wesley Outland, Greg Rentz here with you, also as well as Charles Wooten on the production. And this race has been caution-free since the drop of the green flag. Probably on record now, the fastest broadcast for the Ezra Pro Series on LSR TV since its debut in 5 weeks.
That just shows you how talented these drivers are, Wesley. Being able to click away laps like this, lap after lap after lap, shows what happens. If you can get spread out here on iRacing and you can click away a couple laps to start the race off, you're in pretty good shape to have a long green flag run. We've seen it today. Brian Wirtz now really beginning to stretch it here in the number 82. It's now up to back half a second now as Lovett had closed it back in, but lap traffic is creeping ahead here. Evan Keese up there in the 46, next in line to go a lap down. I think they can get to him before the end of the race. Can Lovett use him as a pick if he catches him?
That's the question. He's got to get around him. You see them as they roar their way into the corner. In this race again, fairly quiet. Just honestly, Greg, sometimes Pocono provides racing like this.
Long green flag runs, but the fast car is able to stay together. It's shown very well here for these guys. Lovett able to get a nice run off turn 3. We talk about those runs they're able to get. It's all about corner exit here, Wesley. It's all about who can get back to the throttle quicker and see who can get a run. As you saw Lovett get back in the throttle quicker off that turn, and look at the gain he was able to get on Wirtz. But now Wirtz trying to pull it back ahead.
Basically just laying back, waiting for that opportunity. The opportunity to go after him. And right now, just kind of lying in the weeds, if you will. We've seen Matt Lovett do that several times here tonight. He'll say, okay, Matt. Okay, Brian, I'll let you stay out in front for now. But then whenever he's ready to go, he'll make it like a coiled cobra, striking on his prey for that deadly bite. As here comes Lovett, reeling him in like bait on a hook. Left hard boot as well as a pick as they go into the corner. Can he run him down?
Yeah, they're going to catch him. They're going to catch him here real quick within the next couple of laps, Wesley. I don't know if he can hold him off here. Wirtz has been very strong, but Lovett seems like the longer this run goes, the stronger that 82 or 41 car gets here in this one. Closing stages here at Pocono as they're in the tunnel turn now. Lap traffic ahead. They're going to catch him this corner.
Down the straightaway they go. Hey, there you see what the points leader of the series and the driver of the 41 looks like, Matt Lovett. Thanks to Swag. Matt Lovett in the number 41 car. Ready to try to get another win on the series. Matt Lovett again for Dark Horse Racing from Bristol, Tennessee for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. His second full season in the Nezra Pro E-Series. 30 years old and ready to bring this one to the house. Make the run on Brian Wirtz if he can get him. And he's going to try to use lap traffic as a pick, as now 2 lap cars are in the midst of the leaders as we close in on 10 remaining, 13 to go down the Milwaukee Mile straightaway as they approach the Indianapolis straightaway, working into turn number 3.
Wirtz to the inside of PC. He's going to get the spot away from him, put him a lap down, but Lovett hanging right there with him on the back bumper. Could Lovett get up there? No, not this time. Lovett able to pull away for now, but look at Lovett on the inside of Wirtz. Wirtz able to get up in front of the lap car, though. Now he's got a little bit of a draft, Wesley. That's going to help him tremendously.
And by the way, quick reminder, the series is off next Monday night. The next race will be the finale of the regular season, and that will be 2 weeks from tonight on Monday, November 2nd from Richmond Raceway. And then the battle for a championship is on for the next 9 races.
It is on from here. Going to be 10 laps to go when they get to the line, Wesley. Wirtz able to hold on. This has been his longest out front stretch of the race. Can he hold off Lovett for 10 more laps? We'll find out, because here he comes.
Got to make that run down the straightaway. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you here as we approach 10 remaining. Brian Wirtz has showed the strongest competitiveness of his car the entire race so far right now in this stage.
It has been a great run for him as he got to the front like we've seen him do a couple times here tonight, but he has been able to stay in front of him this time. But Lovett, he is doing a lot better here on the corner exits in that number 41. Wirtz trying to hold on, but Lovett so strong on corner exit right now. That is going to be what's going to wind up making or breaking the race for Wirtz, is can he figure it out to where he can hold him off on corner exit.
You are going to be so happy, Greg. Well, I don't know about you, Greg, but I know Charles is going to be happy. I'm in here, Charles. You can say something about this, buddy. You're going to be off Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Words can't describe how happy I am to get some days off.
Yes.
He has needed it for a while.
Down the stretch they come. It is it has come down to this, under 10 remaining. And it is Brian Wirtz trying to hold off Matt Lovett. Steve Evasius is 5 seconds back. Fitchner back in 7th. 7.5 seconds back in 4th. 12 seconds back for Hank Caston, the Charlotte winner. And there is the battle for the win, for the race, for the championship, for the points. Right there. Brian Wirtz, Matt Lovett, and 9 to go. Back to turn 1, Greg.
Closing stages here at this one in Pocono. Lovett putting pressure on the 82. And Lovett, again, that corner exit is where he is stronger than Wirtz. Wirtz is able to get it back in entry, though. Look at that gap gain right back between Wirtz and Lovett there going into the tunnel turn. Lap traffic up ahead again. This time it's Matt Jorgensen, but again, Lovett so much stronger on corner exit. Wirtz has to figure out a way to keep him at bay in that number 82 here on corner exit, because look how much stronger Lovett is off corner exit.
This is down to the wire here, down the front straightaway into turn number 1, 8 to go. Lap traffic still in the way. Brian Wirtz clears him. Matt Lovett now does as well, and he still can't use that lap car as a pick. He tries to. He just can't not seem to shut the door. And honestly, now he is right on his door, bump drafting with him down the back straightaway.
Look at the run that Lovett got on exit there. However, that little bump trap was enough to give Wirtz a big gap. That was a big gain through the tunnel turn there.
That was a big mistake. I don't think Matt should have done that.
I think he should have tried to make his move right there. I think he could have got the lead.
I mean, he literally cut the air off between him and Brian, and what Matt did is that when he backed off, he let Lovett just take all that air away from him and pull away like he did. But here comes to the line, 6 to go. He is reeling him back in again. It really looks to me, as we approach the end of this race here, Greg Rentz, that Brian Wirtz is better on the straightaways. Lovett is actually better in the corners to catch him.
Yeah, he has been very strong, has Lovett in the corner, or in the middle of the corner and off the corner, but right there is where Wirtz is better. The corner entry is where he's better than him, but watch Lovett on corner exit. Look how he's able to cut into the lead here of Wirtz. We are getting it down, Wesley, because there are going to be 5 laps to go when they get to the line. Wirtz trying to hold off Lovett for 5 more circuits around this 2.5-mile tri-oval triangle.
What turn 4 down the straightaway that imitates the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 5 laps to go. Down into turn number 1. 3, 2, 1. They turn into what the track is the straightaway of Trenton, New Jersey Speedway. Working their way off of 2. Down that straightaway that mocks the Milwaukee Mile. Through those corners, watching them. And right now, it is Wirtz and Lovett fighting it out. Trying to give us some type of excitement, Greg, as we come down to the home stretch of this race tonight.
Can Lovett get back up there? But Wirtz, he did what he has to do, Wesley. He is trying to figure out a corner exit strategy, has been for the last few laps. Looks like he may have finally figured it out here. He has got it dialed in.
246 miles, 98 laps in the Barnes Paving and Trucking LLC 246 here on LSR TV. For those that are watching as well as listening on CRN Sports, this is down to the wire. It has been caution-free. 94 laps in, 4 to go, and Wirtz and Lovett still continue to contest. They still continue to battle. They're racing not only just for that, they're running for a championship as well, Greg, as right now, Matt Lovett has 3 wins, 26-point lead over Brian Wirtz. If Brian wins, he'll now have 3 wins, tying with Matt Lovett, and he can cut in on that point lead deficit.
So Wirtz actually does have wins. We've been saying that he has no wins, but he does have wins. He might be in trouble now because look at the run that Lovett got off of turn number 3 and at number 41 right to the bumper. He's going to throw a block. It's on now. Lovett to the inside wants this lead.
Oh, yeah, Brian Wirtz has 2 wins on the series so far. Those are wins that we have not covered. They were before we were on LSR TV. But, yes, he does have wins.
That explains why I don't recall that, but wow, Lovett just got to the bottom and stole it there from Wirtz on the inside. Wirtz did what he had to do, throw a block. So now the pressure is back on Wirtz to try to size him back up again. 2 laps to go when they get back to the stripe. Barney will hold the candlesticks high when they get back to the line. Wirtz only has 2 more opportunities to get back around Lovett.
Hourglass running short. And there you see Lovett back out in front again. And Brian Wirtz will now try to play defense. And now Matt Lovett will play blocker. 2 remaining here at the Tricky Triangle Pocono in the day of the Keystone State of virtual Pennsylvania of iRacing. Lovett, Wirtz, 1 and 2. There's the battle. There's the race. There's the championship contenders locked in. And it continues on here as we move into the final laps down the backstretch into turn 3 coming up.
Down the backstretch into turn 3. Going to see the white flag, turn 2, white flag going to be in Barney's hand when we get back to the stripe. Wirtz has 1 more shot to get around him.
They'll make their way around Turn 3 down the straightaway. And they're going to come to the CRN 1 to go. One more lap remaining here as they cross the stripe. Remember, we are the voice of live sim racing. Follow us for coverage of esports, college and high school sports racing. We're broadcasting a full broadcast crew for the Fall Spectacular 400 this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on CRN Sports. We are CRN.com. Final lap. Lovett out in front. Wirtz can't get there to get around him, but he's right there trying to do what Lovett did to him earlier for a whole shot for the final time.
He's got one more shot, and he's trying to make it work. One more corner to try to make it happen. As they come down, this is Wirtz's final shot. He's got to beat him to the throttle and get around him quickly. No, he slid just a little bit. That's going to seal it. Lovett's got this one.
Coming off of turn number 3 to the checkered flag. His 4th win on the year, staying in P1. The Barnes Paving and Trucking 246 winner at Pocono. Winner of round 9 goes to Matt Lovett. Second spot to Brian Wirtz. Third is going to go to Stephen Evasius. Anthony Fitchner will finish in the top 5.
Fitchner 4th, Caston 5th. Mayu,
Cast in the
Cherry,
top 5. My apologies.
Clark.
Yeah.
Coates and Fluman with the top 10. That's big for Fluman and Clark.
Oh, yes.
They were on the outside looking in. They both just got top 10s. That's big for them.
And mind you, Greg Rentz, caution free.
98 laps, caution
I feel
free
bad for Swag. I feel bad for Billy and Rhonda Smith, the Sharks. Didn't get a lot of love tonight. We mentioned them a time or two. But as far as the caution flags and the replays, they got one replay maybe.
Yeah, one replay for him this season. But we got a whole other race coming up at Atlanta here, coming up later tonight on LSR TV. So they got another shot.
Yes, sir. Matt Lovett winning, and now after you win, you celebrate. You burn it down. He's going to burn down the virtual house here at the Tricky Triangle. The man out of Bristol, Tennessee, picking up another win, his 4th win on the season. Coming into this race, he was tied with 7 top 5s and 7 top 10s. The points leader of the series in the number 41 machine. It is again Matt Lovett getting it done in that number 41 car. The driver, of course, another win for him out of Bristol, Tennessee. The 30-year-old, his 2nd season in the Elite Sim Racing Pro Series for National Alliance on Mental Illness in the 41 car for Dark Horse Racing. While that goes on, let's take a look at the final results here for the Barnes Paving and Trucking 246 round 9, the penultimate race of the regular season at Pocono. Matt Lovett will pick up the win. 2nd spot's going to go to Brian Wirtz. 3rd to Stephen Evasius. Anthony Fitchner. 4th, Hank Caston will finish in 5th. 13 seconds back. 21 seconds back almost is, again, Hank Caston in the top 5. Josh Mayu in 6th position. Matt Cherry, the Talladega winner, 7th. Casey Clark Jr., 8th. Alec Coates in the 10th, 9th. And Jake Fluman, probably his best run so far this season, Greg. He'll finish in the top 10.
That's a big top 10 for Fluman, as well as he was on the outside looking in. 12 cars finished on the lead lap. The last 2 were Ryan Hedrick and Casey Gilchrist, finishing 11th and 12th. Evan Keese fought back to finish 13th. Got around Casey Knighton and Matt Jorgensen for 14th and 15th. Sean Lottison in 16th. Edward Jurgen, Cody Cox, David DeFazio, and Art Moline round out the top 20 in this one. Michael Woolley, Jake Elrod, and Isaac Mock did not finish the race.
When we come back, the Clan Wars servers post-race wrap-up is upon us. By the way, also want to give props to Race Control for Ezra tonight. Thanks to Dakota Wilson, Jason Wiley, and Kyle Ramsey for handling race operations, keeping everything in line. A caution-free event at Pocono. When it's said and done, Matt Lovett, the points leader, keeps that green bar shining more brightly is what I meant. His 4th win now on the series. We'll talk to the drivers and more when we return from Pocono on LSR TV and for those listening on CRN Sports. hosting gamers worldwide. It is time for the Clan Wars servers post-race wrap-up here at the virtual Pocono Raceway. Welcome back to our coverage for those that are watching on your home for sim racing, LSR TV. If you're listening on CRN Sports, Greg Rentz, Wesley Outlet, Charles Wooten also on the production for both ends. And again, the race is in the books. What a phenomenal job. We'll talk to Matt Lovett about his win number 4 coming up here in just a moment. But first, the top 3 finishers. We'll talk to the man in 3rd place, driver of the number 12 Goodwrench machine, Stephen Evasius. Stephen, so close, but you have to settle for 3rd. But it's a good run for you on the podium.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just was trying to pit early, be desperate, but it didn't work out too good for me.
Steven, you got up there, led a few laps here. You've had a lot of speed in that number 12 car all year long. Just haven't had the racer's luck that we talk about so much. Finally able to put it together and get a podium. How's it feel to get that proverbial monkey off your back and finally get yourself a good finish here?
Yeah, it feels good, man. I ain't been able to finish a race in a good spot or in a good car at all. And I thought it was going to be the case there. I was checking the last lap. I hit that lap car, but I got lucky. It almost got me, though.
A good run for you. I know this is an awesome turnaround. I'm looking at the statistics right now. Hey, you're not out of the hunt of things for you, Stephen. I mean, you know, you're kind of, with this finish, it at least gives you out of, you're in the top 17 coming to the start of this race. But with a run like this helps you climb in the points. We appreciate you being on. Real quickly, give your thoughts on that and thank your sponsors in closing on Segway.
Yeah, I think I'm out of it, honestly. They told me today it was the top 12, so I was trying to get a win. That was the only hope I had. I'll try next week, but that's the only hope I got, I think. Thank you guys for doing this, and thank the league for putting on some badass racing. It's fun.
Fun time for sure. Stephen Evasius in that number 12 machine, getting it done. Every time I think of that Goodwrench car, I think of Dale Earnhardt Sr., the GM Goodwrench machine there. So Stephen Evasius again, 3rd place on the podium. Hey, Brian Wirtz looking for win number 3 to tie Matt. You have to settle for 2nd, Brian. But hey, you got the green bars. How does it make you feel knowing that even though you're trying to fight for the win, you know you're in the postseason coming up in the next couple of weeks?
Feels good. Had a fairly good race, a fairly good car in the short run. Love it. Kind of set me up there at the end, sat behind me, saved the tires, and couldn't quite get back to him there at the end.
Brian, tell us about the course of that race. You and Lovett switching the lead all race long. Tell us about the course of the race. Were you guys just like on the same strategy, working together, or did you guys just happen to come down pit road all 3 times?
Same strategy, working together as far as I was better on the short run. He was much better on the long run, and it seemed if we played nice with each other, we could maximize our gap to 3rd and fight it between ourselves at the end. And I kind of figured it would go that way, seeing how his car handled on the long run. I would get really tight. I wouldn't be able to exit turn 1 very well. I could get him a little bit in 3 and through the tunnel, but turn 1 was deadly for me at the end. I couldn't quite get it rotated.
Hey, listen, as we said, regardless of what went on, you know you're in the postseason, but the hunger of a driver, whether virtual or reality, you want to win. What was the strategy there of trying your best to hold him off, and was there a mistake that you think you made that cost you to let Matt win?
Yeah, so I was trying to maintain a bigger gap out of 3 because the worst spot to have a pass put on you is turn 1. There's a bunch of bumps in that 2nd lane, and if they set you up properly into 1, you're getting passed 9 times out of 10. And I was trying to maximize like a little bit of distance, and I almost spun coming out of 3 on I think it was 4 or 5 to go, and sure enough right to the inside, and he got around me. But I'm excited for the playoffs. I'm gonna try to get another win. Hopefully he doesn't run away with wins from me, or I can at least get a few in the playoffs there where it matters.
Sponsors, buddy, think about in that number 82.
I got to thank Jason over at Signature Esports for sponsoring the team, and NVIDIA, of course. And thank you to all my teammates, Matt Lovett, Michael Woolley, and Casey Knighton. Awesome guys to run with every week. And thank you guys for broadcasting.
You're very welcome, buddy. Again, there's Brian Wirtz. Again, he'll settle for second spot. Again, coming into this race, he had 2 wins. Again, 7 top 5, 7 top 10s. And when we leave Pocono, he'll now have 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 8 top 10s, and still in the second spot. Running down the man that will now have 4 wins, 8 top 5s, and 8 top 10s when this race concludes. In a 26-point lead over Brian Wirtz going into the night's race here at Barnes Paving and Trucking 245 at Pocono. And he gets it done again for win number 4. See, he has not won since Bristol. Matt Lovett. Matt, congratulations. Good to see that 41 car. Sheer domination between you and Wirtz. Respect amongst you drivers. And it's all coming down to the postseason very shortly with another win in your caliber.
Yeah, it's always a blast running with Brian, especially for a win there. It was a different race for sure. We needed to bounce back after terrible performance at Charlotte, and then my screw up last week at Dover on speeding. But what a way to come back, right?
Matt, we were talking about it on the broadcast. It just seemed like through the corners you were just so much faster than the 82 of Wirtz. What did you do differently than Wirtz here through the rest of the race to get yourself into that position where you were so much stronger on corner entry?
I really don't know. I couldn't tell you how I ran this track every lap. Every lap was different, it seemed like. I kept forgetting where to turn, where to brake, and things like that. It was really difficult. Just saving the tire, I think, for the most part, was a big deal. I let him go out there a little bit, gain, 4/10 on me, 5/10, whatever. And I just kind of tried to stay back a little bit. But I thought I made a crucial error there on lap, I think it was 94 or something. I got let him get too far ahead, and I had to somehow reel him back in. But it was all in all, it was a great race.
Hey, listen, I don't think there's anything else left to say except congratulations, 4th win, closing in on the postseason. You got a week off next week, and then you get ready for Richmond. Thank your sponsors on that number 41 machine, and we'll pack her up. Enjoy next week off.
Yeah, we got National Alliance on Mental Illness, great organization. NVIDIA, e-signature. Jason has sponsored us throughout the whole season. Brian, the team owner, my teammates, Brian and Michael Woolley and Casey Knighton. Big shout out to my spotter, Corey. He just really the one that helped me this one a lot. He held me back a lot. I wanted to try to pass Brian like lap 89. He was like, no. Right behind him. I said, all right. LSR TV, Barnes Paving. It's a great night, man.
Congratulations again to the driver that will have now 4 wins, the most of everybody on the series. 8 top 5s, 8 top 10s, and again leading the number 1 seed going into the postseason, going into the regular season finale in 2 weeks at Richmond. Number 41 from Bristol, Tennessee, Matt Lovett. Well, that's going to wrap things up on, again, the Clan War Servers post-race wrap-up. Clan War Servers, the official communications partner of Live Sim Racing. Greg, final thoughts, buddy, before we get ready to reset. I go to virtual Atlanta with you as well. I'll be in the pit lane. You'll be up top side of the tower with Justin Prince, and we get ready for another Cup race, the playoffs for the Northwest iRacing Cup Series to decide a champion. But as this race closes here for the penultimate race of the regular season of the Elite Sim Racing Association, what's your final thoughts of Pocono?
A very clean race tonight, Wesley. Props to the drivers to go caution-free for 98 laps at Pocono, and that's no easy task to be able to do what these drivers did tonight, especially with that close racing we saw between Brian Wirtz and Matt Lovett all day long. Lovett, of course, coming out on top with the victory in the number 41, but man, oh man, that was some very close competitive racing throughout the entire night. We stayed green the entire time. You don't see that very often. Props to these drivers. We're heading to Atlanta now with the Northwest Cup Series, opening round of the playoffs, but looking forward to next week here, back here with these guys. Actually, 2 weeks that they're off.
Yeah, that's exactly right. By the way, we will return back to action with the No Limit Racing program. By the way, go to NoLimitRacing.net for information on the Pro Series, the Thunder Series in action tomorrow night. NoLimitRacing.net. I don't think the official transition has officially happened yet with the website, but again, it is under the Ezra sanctioning banner, the Elite Sim Racing Association. But again, NoLimitRacing.net. Click on the Pro Series, and again, next week we are off for the series, and then the final race of the regular season, and that will be November 2nd at Richmond Raceway, the Action Short Track. It should be a good one in the virtual Commonwealth of Virginia at Richmond. Again, thank you to, as always, Mr. Charles Wooten running the boards in Wichita Falls, Texas for LSR TV and 52 Media, as well as making sure the audio is running properly for the CRN Sports audio feed as well. For Greg Rentz, I'm Wesley Outland. Thank you for joining us for coverage of the Ezra, the Elite Sim Racing Association tonight. Free at Pocono, and Matt Lovett gets his 4th win as the playoffs approach. God bless you all. Please keep on praying for America, and we'll be back at 11:15 Eastern for the first round of the playoffs for the Northwest iRacing Cup Series.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.